Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is day 8 of 30 Days of Happiness. And today I wanted to talk about how I feel like my personality is physically changing. Physically? I don't know. Physically is not the word. Personality? I don't think that's physical. My personality is changing. And I'll just give you an example. So in this happiness journey and noticing that I'm enjoying things more, there are things coming up and being brought to my attention and impulses that I'm following and alignment that I'm achieving. And I kind of thought, specifically with following some of Abraham Hicks stuff, I was like, oh, this feels so resonant, so true. This is probably it. Like in my mind, I had this belief, like this is probably it for like spiritual teachers, like understanding from this perspective. But there's a couple things Abraham has said, and they're specifically like, oh, don't think that we're the end all be all, and don't question, your own inner guidance system. Your own inner guidance system is going to tell you things specifically for you and specifically to your situation and all this stuff. And so I've heard that, and that's resonating in my mind as true. And paying attention to what I'm receiving and my intuitions through my meditations and finding myself interested in different things. Specifically, there was this YouTuber that came to my attention a couple of weeks ago, and then they mentioned a different YouTuber a couple days ago. I heard this person. So then today I was on YouTube and watched this person's videos. And actually the first time I had seen her, I was like, this feels like really valuable information and it's different and I'm resonating with it. And it surprised me because I'm like, oh, I didn't think there was more, but of course there's more. There's always more. That is kind of the whole point of our expansion and our evolving, is like, there's always more. There's always more to be interested in, to learn, to create, to do, to explore, to follow, whatever. There's always something else. And that was so cool to me because I was like, oh, there is more. There's more in every area of your life that you want there to be more in. And that just gives me such fresh energy. It gives me such life and it's such excitement to see what's coming, because things that you think like, oh, this is the pinnacle, like I have done so much in this area, like I feel so good in this area, there's even more. So that's something that was really exciting for me, is finding this YouTuber, which I will say about my personality changing. So I was like, I don't know that this is for me. And then I was like, well, that's really a belief, right? Like thinking that the way this person talked or the way that this person conveyed information, specifically with the language they used, is not language that I typically use. And I don't usually follow people who use that language. But I was like, you know what, there's a reason this resonates so strongly with me. I'm listening to my intuition. I can't help but listen to this person that I'm like really interested in what they're saying. And then I realized, like, that's a limitation I had put on myself of like, oh, I don't listen to this type of person, or I don't like this type of person. And so when I removed that limitation, I could really hear the essence of what they were trying to say. And that message really resonates with me. And that message really, it feels so expansive and so exciting. And I like following those things that make me feel like, oh, there's like a lot more possibility here. There's a lot more than I've even realized to experience or to desire or to go for. And that's what I think is so cool, specifically about YouTube, but just in general in this era that we're at of like information communication, that other people's achievement, it's like the 4-minute mile. No one could run a 4-minute mile until the person ran a 4-minute mile, and then a bunch of people could run a 4-minute mile. And that's what I feel like life is these days, is like you have these ideas, or I have these ideas of what's possible, and I have these ideas of, what life can be like. And then I just follow interest and follow intuition and follow inclination. I'm just like, whoa, like there's limitless possibilities. Like there's so many things out there, and only those beliefs that I have of like, oh, I don't like this type of person, or I don't like this, like those are the only things that would hold me back. So I've been learning how to listen to that emotional guidance system of, does this resonate with me? Does this feel like an expansive thought or a contracting thought? Bruce Lipton talks a little bit about like the difference between love and fear in your cells, of like love is an expansive energy and it's the only energy in which your cells can grow, and then fear is a contracting energy where your cells go into protection and they can't grow, they can't multiply. And so you can, at least I can, really feel the expansive energy versus the contracting energy. And I've been really trying to pay attention to more of that and how I feel when I think a thought, even like thoughts, guys. Like this morning I was thinking thoughts and I was like, this is true. Then I was like, but it feels terrible. So let's just choose something else. Let's choose something else to focus on. And if it needs to be something else true, fine. I'm like, I'm gonna find something else true to focus on. So I went like flipped to appreciation for the situation. But yeah, like that's more my guidance system now, is like, how does this feel? Do I want more of this? Do I want to go in the direction of that? Do I want to focus on that? Because there's plenty of true things that feel good, and there's plenty of true things that don't feel good. So if truth is your measure, if you're like, it needs to be true, it needs to be measurable, it needs to be something that has happened, which, you know, all good. Like, I don't know, there's a verse in the Bible that says, whatever is good, whatever is honorable, whatever is true, like focus on these things. And I'm totally paraphrasing, but I will link the verse in my description so that I can get it correct. But that's been a verse that has always spoken to me. And you know what? I was not planning on saying this today, but I'm just going to say it because I mentioned a Bible verse and I got one right here in front of me that I look at and has really motivated me for, I guess, like really inspired me for a long time, but I've really taken it seriously the last few weeks. And this is Ecclesiastes 5:18-20. This is what I've observed to be good, that it is appropriate for a person to eat, to drink, and to find satisfaction in their toilsome labor under the sun during the few days of life God has given them, for this is their lot. Moreover, when God gives someone wealth and possessions and the ability to enjoy them, to accept their lot and be happy in their toil, this is a gift from God. They seldom reflect on the days of their life because God keeps them occupied with gladness of heart. Now, specifically, the term gladness of heart has spoken to me so much over the last few weeks, and I was like, that's how I want to live. Actually, you know what? Honestly, this has been speaking to me for a long time. I had it underlined years in my life, and it's kind of interesting to like see how things come to the forefront and how you'll allow them in. And just like the last few months, I've just been like, wow, to live with gladness of heart where you don't think about like quote unquote problems of your life, or you don't think about, you know, big issues that like cause a lot of stress, but you just like live with gladness of heart and you enjoy your possessions and you enjoy your food and your drinks and your work. Like, what would that be like? That was like kind of my thought like months ago when I wrote this down and like really wanted to focus on it. Actually, I think I wrote this in my early 20s and I just like refound it a couple months ago. But I really dedicated myself to being like, this is an important theme in my life. Like this gladness of heart is very important. So I wrote that down, and it really has evolved, obviously, into this 30 days of happiness journey that I have. And it just feels like a sign for me. And interestingly enough, I didn't say this in the past two videos, but I don't know what day it was, when we went to go to the ice cream shop instead of my coffee shop, must have been Thursday or Friday, my husband's ice cream cone was like a Joy brand ice cream cone. And he was like, look, Joy, like, cause I'm like focusing on joy and happiness. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool, because it just felt like a little sign of like following my bliss and like having that confirmed. And then as we were on our way to the hospital, we went past a roundabout, and there was one sign on the whole roundabout. Like it wasn't on a house. Like normally those signs that are like, so-and-so painting company or so-and-so, you know, asphalt, like when they do work on a house and they put a sign. Well, there was a sign for Joy Painting. It just said Joy Painting, and it was right in the middle of the roundabout. No other signs, not on a house. Like, I don't even know if it's legal to put a sign there to like advertise a company because it's public, I'm pretty sure. or owned by the city. And it was just like another one of those signs, like even on the way to the emergency room, like joy, joy. And I kind of laughed at it and I didn't mention it. And like, just was kind of like, of course, joy, like, of course, what a little sign. And my husband was like, joy. And like, he's like, did you see the sign? I was like, yes, I did. So loved that. And just those things, those like magic little things happening, being signs. And yeah, I've just been noticing more and more of that, and just appreciating that little voice in your head that kind of says like positive things if you're in a good mood. I wouldn't recommend, or at least I try not to listen to it if I'm in a bad mood, but that little voice in your head, like that I heard when I was listening to this YouTuber, when I was like, I don't think I like people like this, or I don't think I like language like this. And then I was like, that's kind of a belief that I've put on this. So like, what if I listened to what she was saying beyond my beliefs about people like this or language like that? And wow, I got a lot out of it. I also have been repeating the belief that everything has something of value. So I don't have to know why I'm drawn to certain things. Like, I'm just trying to follow that, whatever is bringing joy and whatever feels the best, whatever thought feels the best, whatever action feels the best. And I don't really need to understand it. And then kind of afterwards, I'll assess it and be like, what did that bring? Like, what do I have? And what did I learn from that? And there's always something. And maybe it's because of the belief that there's always something of value, but there always has been something of value, even in like the strangest things that I wouldn't think I would get something out of. I'm getting so much out of, and I feel so expansive, and I feel so open and just growing. And it's been so cool. And I know Abraham Hicks talks about this. It's like, just like 3 or 4 days of meditating, your life will change. Like, it will change, and it will start changing even more. And wow, the happiness, we're on day 8 and I feel like a totally different person. So yeah, it's so cool, guys. Like, let me know if you're following along, if you're doing this for yourself, if you're following more of your intuitions, or however you're experiencing this. Let me know your comments down below, and I will see you guys for day 9.